Welcome to Act 5 of Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 2, Part 2. This is the conclusion of the entire play. Brace yourselves, because things are about to get real and the bodies are going to pile up. So, the duel is set. Hamlet and Laertes are going to fight with rapiers and daggers. The way that they do duels, at least in this particular instance, I don't know if this was commonplace for duels back then, but the way they're doing this duel is it's basically a best of, well, it's three hits. You have to hit the other person with your weapon, basically like fencing. You have to hit the other person with your weapon um, three times. The first player, the first person to get three hits, win. So everybody's there, everybody's gathered, and the king and queen are on their thrones watching, and Laertes and Hamlet come in, and Laertes is just like burrowing daggers into Hamlet with his eyes. Um, Hamlet was cautioned in Act 5, Scene 1 by his mother to, the first part of Scene 2. Hamlet was cautioned by his mother to be kind. Be kind to Laertes. Okay, you done screwed up. Don't be a jerk. Be kind to Laertes. And Hamlet was already planning on doing that anyway, so he was like, sure. So Hamlet basically, he and Laertes shake hands, and basically the duel starts. And Hamlet is far better a sword fighter than anybody expected. We all knew that Laertes was an excellent sword fighter. But what we didn't know was just how good Hamlet was. And Hamlet is making Laertes look like a fool. Hamlet's just running circles around this guy. And Hamlet easily gets the first hit. And everybody's cheering, everybody's excited. And Claudius, he can kind of sense where this might be going with how quickly Hamlet got that first hit and how confidently he did. Claudius is like, all right. So he lifts up the goblet. Now, if you remember, uh, the plan was to poison Laertes' sword. If Laertes just scratches Hamlet with his sword, it'll mean certain death. But they had a plan B. If Laertes doesn't get a hit on Hamlet, in the unlikely event that he doesn't get a hit on Hamlet, plan B was to poison the victory cup. And that's what Claudius does now. He holds up a pearl. He's the only one, well, he and Laertes are the only ones that know that this pearl is coated with poison. And he takes this pearl and he drops it in the cup. He holds up the cup and he's like, Hamlet, here you go. A toast to you. Please drink. Hamlet is like, no, just set it by. I'll toast when the duel is over. If I win or lose, I'll toast to Laertes or I'll toast to myself, whatever. But I don't want to toast in the middle of the duel. That's bad luck, man. Just set it by a while. And Claudius is like, hey, man, your funeral, right? So he sets it by. So then it's game on, and Hamlet gets a second point pretty quickly as well. And everybody's going nuts. Laertes is getting super frustrated. Hamlet's getting really cocky. And the queen is getting super excited. And again, Claudius is like, Hamlet, want a drink? And he's like, no, set it by. I'll wait till it's done. The queen, in her excitement, says, you know what, Hamlet? If you're not going to toast to your success, I will toast to your success. And Gertrude takes the cup and drinks. Claudius sees Gertrude grab the cup, holds it up, and he's like, whoa, Gertrude, hold on. You don't want to do that. And she's like, why not? Why wouldn't I want to toast my son? And he's like, reasons, I guess? And she's like, not good enough. And she drinks. And Claudius is like, crap, that's going to ruin my weekend. So she drinks the cup. Now, around this time, Laertes successfully gets a scratch on Hamlet. So the queen is poisoned. Hamlet is now poisoned. But Hamlet is pissed at the nature in which Laertes got this hit on him. It seems like Laertes might have cheated in order to get this hit on him, because he couldn't beat him in a fair duel. So remember what I said earlier about how much Hamlet hates liars and cheaters? Hamlet goes into a rage, and he and Laertes get into a fight, a fist fight. Like their swords drop and they just go at each other. And Hamlet's furious. Now, Hamlet's poisoned, the queen is poisoned, Hamlet's furious, they drop their swords, and in the scuffle, Hamlet picks up the nearest sword to him and he stabs Laertes with it. Just so happens, he's holding Laertes' sword. So now Laertes is poisoned. So 3 major players all poisoned in the span of a couple of minutes. So, as this is happening, the queen collapses. The poison in her body is starting to take effect. It's a very fast-acting poison. It's starting to take effect, and she is falling. And at first, Claudius tries to play it off like, "Oh, guys, don't worry about the queen stumbling around. She's so faint out of excitement over her son." Nobody's buying it. She falls to the ground, and she's like, "Poison! There's poison!" And Hamlet's like, "Oh my God, my mom's poisoned! Everybody, quick, lock the doors. Don't let anybody out. We got to get to the bottom of this." And Laertes says, "Hamlet, it's not going to do you any good, man. The sword is poisoned. The cup is poisoned. The king is to blame. He's the one that set this whole thing up." Hamlet flies into a rage. He charges the king with the poisoned sword, stabs Claudius with the poisoned sword. Then he grabs the cup of poison and force feeds Claudius to drink of the poisoned cup. Double kill. So Claudius dies pretty immediately. Okay, it was a pretty deep wound to begin with, and then it was coated with poison, and then he made him drink poison. So yeah, Claudius is like super dead. At about this time, Laertes is dying. He's stumbling around, he's dying, and in his dying breath, Laertes begs Hamlet for forgiveness and tells Hamlet that, "I forgive you. Please forgive me. I forgive you for my father. I forgive you for me. I forgive you for Ophelia. Please forgive me for the treachery that just transpired." And Hamlet agrees. So Laertes and Hamlet trade forgiveness with one another. Laertes dies. So now, Gertrude is dead. Claudius is dead. Laertes is dead. Hamlet is dying. Hamlet is stumbling around, dying, and calling out to his friend Horatio. Horatio is like, "Screw this noise. I don't want any part of this. I mean, everyone I've ever cared about, everyone I've ever known is all dead or dying. I should just end it myself too." And he grabs the poison cup, intent on finishing it and ending his own life. And Hamlet says, "Don't you dare. Horatio, I basically order you to stay alive and tell the world what happened here. Can you do that for me, buddy?" And Horatio, even though he wants to die, is begrudgingly like, "Yeah, all right, I'll do as you ask. I don't like it, but I'll do it." Because remember, Horatio is the only one that Hamlet trusts, and he's the only one that knows everything. He knows everything. He's been there from the beginning. So he's probably the best person, the only person besides Hamlet himself, who could tell what's going on. And I would question even Hamlet couldn't tell what had happened reliably because of the insanity. Horatio is the best person to tell this tale. So then As Hamlet lays dying, he makes his first and only act as king. And he says, "Look, we know that Fortinbras is on his way. He's been fighting with Poland. He's probably on his way back by now. In fact, we can hear the drum beats of his army. We know that he's scheduled to stop here and basically pay his respects to Claudius and say thank you for giving me safe passage. When he gets here, he's going to see that this uh, throne is vacant, that basically the entire bloodline of my family is gone, and there's no one to oppose him. You know he's going to take the throne for himself. If he does that, there's going to be a huge bloody war, and we're going to lose bad because his army will already be within the castle walls. They'll already be inside the castle walls when the fighting starts. We will get slaughtered. So, to avoid unnecessary bloodshed, just make Fortinbras king, man. I declare as King Hamlet that Fortinbras will be my successor. Make sure you tell him that, and we'll avoid bloodshed. Okay? Peace out." And Hamlet dies. All right? So, as he dies, Fortinbras indeed comes in. He looks around, he sees all the dead bodies, and he's like, what now? What's going on? And Horatio gets up and he goes over to Fortinbras and he's like, "Man, it's a long story. I'll tell it to you, but not right now, man. Right now, we need to clean this up." And Fortinbras, as his first act as new king, basically says, "All right, uh, as your new king, I want to pay my respects to Hamlet. I'm going to order that Hamlet be buried as a hero, as a warrior king, basically." And so Hamlet gets a warrior's hero's burial, which is a huge honor back then. Okay, remember, the people of Denmark love Hamlet. And this is going to go a long way in solidifying Fortinbras's relationship with these people that he's now in charge of. So basically, thus ends the play. And the only major player left alive is Horatio. Pays to be a good guy, I guess. It pays to be keep your nose clean. It pays to, be loyal and kind and good. Nice guys do finish. So nice guys do finish last, but it's better than being dead, I guess. So anyway, that is Hamlet, and we will have our test in the not too distant future, and we'll have some closing activities. And you need to be looking for quotes and outside sources for your annotated bibliography and your research papers.